What's going on, guys? It's Jake here, bringing you guys another Spider-Man Top 5 Friday. Today we're going to be doing Top 5 Spider-Man Adaptations. Now, by adaptations, I mean any way Spider-Man is portrayed out of the comics. And basically, we're going to focus on TV shows and movies. Basically on accuracy, how good it was, and, all that fun stuff. Okay. So, let's get started. Number 5 is going to be the original Spider-Man trilogy, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which I think was really good. I think the movies were great. They had great stories to them, and the villains, I think, were done pretty well. Except Spider-Man 3, I mean, well, we all know Spider-Man 3 was a bit of a pitfall. But, I mean, besides that, it was, the first two movies were really good. But, however, they were pretty inaccurate. One of the main reasons they're on here is because they are so classic. They're really, like, the first big movies of Spider-Man. I mean, they had one in 1977. But, moving ahead, I think that Tobey Maguire was good as Spider-Man. And, I don't know if Kirsten Dunst was a great Mary Jane. She was okay. But again, these movies were pretty inaccurate, which is why they aren't ranked any higher. So, in all, I think that these movies were great movies, but not really great Spider-Man movies. Alright, so number 4 is going to be the 1960s Spider-Man cartoon. Now, why would you do this, Jake? It's so old, and everything is done poorly. No, well, it's not. You know why? Because this thing was so accurate, it's ridiculous. They pulled the comic and put it on TV. This thing was story from the comic onto the TV screen. That's exactly what it was. It was ridiculously accurate. And I mean, obviously, it was the 60s, the voice acting wasn't spot on and stuff, but I think it was done pretty well, and it was pretty fun to watch, and we still have those 1960s Spider-Man memes, which we have to thank that series for. But yeah, also, it was the first time Spider-Man was really portrayed on screen, so that's a classic, it's got to be on there. Alright, well, moving on. We'll go to number 3, which is the Spider-Man animated series from 1994, and it went to 1998. Now, this series was truly a blessing for Spider-Man fans. It was great. Now, the series had a bunch of villains, like almost all of Spider-Man's villains in there, and it developed them very well, and it had a really good story to it. And my favorite part about this story, or this series, is that it's a series. You can't just watch one episode because they all connect and they all have a story to it. It was slightly inaccurate on the other surrounding characters, like Gwen Stacy wasn't in it, and Felicia Hardy played more of a love interest, and she turned out being Black Cat, which is correct, but it was good. Aside from that, all the villains had some good depth to them, like they did in the comics. And Spider-Man had his web shooters, which we all love. And yeah, I think one of my only problems with it was how big Peter Parker looked. I mean, he's supposed to be a nerd, and he looks like a bodybuilder of doom. He's so huge. But anyway, moving on to number 2. Now, this is going to be The Amazing Spider-Man, the new movie. Now, you might say, hey, why would you put this on there? It's just one movie compared to the Raimi trilogy, and it's just so new, and we didn't really get much out of the first movie. Well, I think number 1 was really setting up this whole thing, that the franchise that Mark Webb is going to be creating, and it's going to be like an entire Spider-Man universe. And they've already confirmed 4 movies, so I think it was a great setup for what this series is going to be. They tried to stay very close to the comics, and it is pretty darn accurate. They have Gwen Stacy in there. They have the web shooters for the first time in the movies, except the 70s one. And I think my only problem was it was all around Andrew Garfield. I think could have been a bit nerdier. Like, he looks like a supermodel, and that you don't get treated like that in high school if that's what you look like. But yeah. Otherwise, I think he did good acting as Peter Parker. I do like Uncle Ben in this one, and I like a lot of it. Like, even when the suit change, I don't mind. I'm kind of controversial about changing it. I like the suit itself, but I think the acting was great, and the story was really good with Kurt Connors turning into the Lizard. Everyone wanted to see that at one point, and I think it sets up great for the next upcoming movies. Alright, now moving on to the #1 Spider-Man adaptation of all time. I'm sure you guys know exactly what it is. It's going to be The Spectacular Spider-Man. Yes, I love that show so much. It's my ringtone on my phone. It's the background on my phone. It is amazing. The show is just great. It has all the characters in it, all the characters that you need, and it brings the characters that you know and love and puts them in a modern way, like Electro got his powers from getting induced to electric eels and stuff like that. So it goes really well, and I like how they do other villains, like Doc Ock was done well, because he was in episodes before he became Dr. Octopus. And I think that's important. You gotta have that depth. Unlike some shows. Ultimate Spider-Man. By the way, I'll be uploading a Ultimate Spider-Man rant sometime during this week before the next episode of Top 5. It's gonna be me and my friend Cameron ranting on that terrible, ridiculous show. So check it out. But anyway, back to Spectacular. This series is just amazing. A lot of people didn't like the artwork. That was a lot of people's problems. I actually thought it was phenomenal. It had a warm feeling to it, and it felt good. And the dialogue and story to it was amazing. You had Gwen Stacy in there. You had Mary Jane, and it was all going well. And it's just a shame that this series was cut short and we only got to see 2 seasons. And I just beg that eventually, somehow, maybe, we might be able to get Season 3. At this point, I think it's out of the blue, but it still goes down as the best Spider-Man adaptation of all time, with great character development, great story, great dialogue, and that is why I love The Spectacular Spider-Man. Yes, I do. Okay, so we just hit 8 minutes, so now I'm going to start talking to you guys about the channel. No, not really. Well, kind of. Like the video. Share, add to your favorites if you'd like, so you can find it in the near future. Leave me your top 5 Spider-Man adaptations. Tell me what you think. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And be sure to check out that Ultimate Spider-Man rant coming up sometime between now and next Friday. Alright, so I'm Jake, guys. Be sure to subscribe for more Spider-Man Top 5 Fridays. And I'm out.